then be mad at yourself for letting it happen. Then get mad at Kubo because he couldn't save you with his greatness. First big thing with Sage's Reign's video is apparent from the thumbnail. He says Eren has not changed from that child we see in the flashback chapters and subsequently chapter 1. This immediately shocks me because the first big claim of his video is immediately contradicted in the first 30 seconds of his own damn video. 20 seconds in, look at what he says.
Iterates at different times in his life, throughout the different stages of his development.
Throughout the different stages of development immediately implying no means he moved past the child you claimed he never moved past. You can try to semantic this all you want, but it reads weird as fuck to say, hey guys, he never changed, but he still develops. He says weird things like this throughout the video. 4 minutes and 40 seconds in, he says this.
And no matter what, no matter the cost, he always understood that if you do not fight, you can't win. And if you don't win, you will never be free. And anyone who rejects this idea does not matter. Those are Eren's words.
It reads really weird to me, like he's saying if you reject the fight mantra, then you don't matter, instead of what Eren really means, which is if you reject the freedom everyone inherently has, then you don't matter. Maybe it's done like this intentionally, but it still makes the video feel incoherent to some degree. An analysis/video essay should not have these moments, especially 1/7 of the way into it. 626, Sage's Reign makes the biggest, hugest leap into any conclusion I've ever seen. I was listening to this in the shower and I deadass yelled, "What?" like a little girl after hearing it.
Learning that freedom wasn't simply outside the walls or outside the Titans, that freedom wasn't even past the sea. Eren came to the conclusion that he could not attach his morality to his desire for freedom any longer. At this point, he has not only accepted his past, but his nature, and he has accepted that freedom could only be achieved in one way, by killing everyone past the sea.
Peter, what are you doing? Crack? What the fuck?
So the problem is fairly obvious here. He is trying to bridge the story together without it actually making sense or being coherent. Another thing is that he's basically saying he wants to destroy the world from chapter 90 in the pre-time skip. Sage's Reign also says Eren is fighting against himself and the monster within. I can admire this angle like how it's done in Bleach, but this right here is frankly really dumb. It's dumb because it implies there's a side of him that wants to do the rumbling and one side that doesn't, when in fact it's both sides that don't want to become a mass murderer and both sides that want the outcome of the rumbling. So I don't agree with this angle he's putting on at all, just like how I don't agree with Sage's Reign constantly saying Eren is just a kid going through a hard time.
He and Ymir are so much alike for that matter. They are both still children who want to be free.
Frankly, I really do hate some of these video essays because they're objectively wrong at different points.
Where Reiner moves forward for something other than himself, Eren does not.
Buddy is conveniently ignoring chapter 130. The entire reason he followed Zeke's plan and the reason why 130 was written the way it was because Eren did not want to sacrifice Astoria. Sage's dick is saying that Eren is moving forward selfishly when a huge layer of his motivations is with Astoria's safety and her living a long life.
Where Reiner moves forward for something other than himself, Eren does not.
For the next few big points Sage's Reign makes is linked to Eren's motivations. He says things like wanting to make a world a blank plane to explore and that his future doesn't change because he doesn't change. I respect the portion from this guy's Adventure Time videos, but this video specifically is embarrassing. For example, 1250, he reads the most surface level panel from 122.
I think Eren in this moment was not only looking for the power to enact the rumbling, but him genuinely connecting with and saving a girl who has suffered for so long.
Shut your stupid ass up.
Very disappointing, actually. Some things he says in this video is so flowery and rosy and pretentious that I actually frown while listening to it. One moment that gives me a similar feeling is 2452.
The possibility that Eren is unfree lies not because of another's will, but rather because he is a slave to his own desires, to his own nature. Eren is a slave to the idea of freedom.
Dude says he is a slave to the idea of freedom, and I find it so fucking funny because earlier in this video he showed a panel of chapter 90. Chapter 90 where Eren thinks of the outside world and the freedom it possesses, then he immediately thinks of his aunt getting torn apart by dogs. Tell me, reading this page in sequence, can you conclude that Eren was a slave to the idea of freedom? Obviously not. And if you think that way, you genuinely need to stick to Paw Patrol or Fire Force or whatever it is you fucking do. Sage's Reign also says the idea of Eren getting freedom keeps changing, and how it goes from going past the walls to the ocean to fire on water to wiping out the world. This is a complete misreading or just bad media literacy, unfortunately. Eren did not care about the literal sights. He wanted the ability, the agency to see those sights. Eren's freedom has always been the same. There should be no walls caging him in. This is apparent from episode 1 from chapter 1. The problem is Sage's Reign and most people who glaze the series, they over intellectualize and philosophicalize Eren and his own actions. After me saying that Eren wanted to move past the walls that caged him, they would respond by saying some bullshit like there will always be limits on you. When that's not the point of Attack on Titan. This video is very bad. From the mediocre production and lo-fi beats to study 2 type music, it's nothing crazy immersive, which means the script has to put in a lot of work. The script is also bad, however. Multiple times he's objectively wrong or just says some weirdly phrased things or just misunderstood another thing.
Where Reiner moves forward for something other than himself, Eren does not. And no matter what, no matter the cost, he always understood that if you do not fight, you can't win. And if you don't win, you will never be free. And anyone who rejects this idea does not matter. Those are Eren's words. Learning that freedom wasn't simply outside the walls or outside the Titans, that freedom wasn't even past the sea.
He speaks to a carnal vagueness to Eren that isn't exactly explained in the analysis, but is more inferred, and he wants to point you in a general direction rather than walk you through it. An analysis should obviously do the latter, however. The video is 30 minutes long, and it feels like it runs itself over with multiple mentions of Eren fighting against his own self, Fate being used as a benchmark for freedom, and Eren's motivations concerning freedom. Some of these are excusable, but it feels like the same things are being said without any new facets, which bogs down the video. My conclusion of this mug is bad video that feels poorly pieced together. Full disclosure, I have interacted in this guy's comment section before this video. I prodded at the fact that he trivialized a large part of the manga concerning world building and general conflict writing. Since then, I've tried to be a lot more fair and liberal coming into different AOT praise videos. Like, dude comes in the first 30 seconds saying, hey, if you dislike the manga and think Eren is terrible, please watch until the end. And I just didn't. This time around, I will be as fair as possible while being more respectful, because this guy isn't making a living off YouTube with almost 500,000 subs like Sage's Reign. He also acts to be respectful, which I low-key ignored, so I'll try to tone a little bit. Basically, I'll be a lot nicer because Sage's Reign should be doing better for having 500,000 subs and multiple views with millions of videos and thousands of likes. But yeah. Let's get into it. Firstly, this video looks amazing. This editing and production one person can't do without passion and a fuck ton of time. So already I'm engaged, and this is a great start. One thing he says at 4 minutes and 58 seconds is that the Attack Titan has an ability to make the wielder strive for freedom.
It's actually never thoroughly explained. He always says that he's just born like that and he can't help but be this way since he's always been like this. Even when you look at him, whenever he talks about it, he always has this look of just pure bliss. He talks about it as if it's this hungry beast that can never be tamed, something innate to him, which leads me to believe that it's part of the power of the Attack Titan.
He admits this is a headcanon, albeit he communicates it with the correct disposition. I disagree, and I think the Attack Titan seeks freedom and all the other inheritors sought freedom because 1, the world around them actively took away their freedom, and 2, Eren was manipulating them to push them all to the one moment in paths, like Grisha says. It is a bit wonky and weird, but this just makes sense based on what is contextual within the series and what we know for a fact. I will say the argument he makes for the Attack Titan being this sort of cursed figure is a good argument. I don't necessarily agree, however, because this isn't really explained, nor is it contextual with any of the beats around the plot. At 8 minutes and 40 seconds, Mr. HD says that Eren saw his own future because he had the founder and Attack Titan.
What makes Eren's experience with the Attack Titan different is that he's the only holder to have seen his own future. Everyone else sees memories of future holders, not their own. This is because Eren had both the Attack and the Founding Titans. So not only was he able to control what past holders saw, but at what time too. Essentially, just like Grisha, Eren was trapped and locked in the duty of the Attack Titan. But
I truly don't think this is the case. This is because we're told blood relations make memories stronger, and if future Eren just sent memories down to Grisha, that means past Eren, since he related to Grisha, will just see all the future memories, including the ones from future Eren. He says that Eren was locked into the duty of the Attack Titan. This also doesn't make much sense because the moment every Attack Titan fought for was the moment Eren made happen. As Grisha stated, please remember this chapter and this line for what will come forward. This is the most important shit in the fucking story, by the way. Eren being locked into a duty set by himself is convoluted hogwash that can just be explained by free will and nature over nurture. Ace also says Eren didn't have a choice with his memories and the like, and uses 139 to substantiate this. The start of his video aimed to get detractors to understand his position, and if you want to do that, using 139 as evidence is typically a bad idea. It's a bad idea in this case because before 139, Eren did have a choice. He had a choice to do the 5th year plan. He had a choice not to save Ramsey. He had a choice not to attack Liberio. He did all these things because he wanted to. This is how Eren is actually complex. The future is molded by his own actions, and his own actions to show how selfish and violent he really is, and that is what upsets him to some degree. He's upset because of his own nature, but again revels in the idea that he has the willpower and strength to save his nation. It's multifaceted, with the continuous idea being the cost or price for freedom. Ace says that Eren didn't have a choice, but ignores the fact that he did have choices, and 123 and 131 tells us this. He then ironically shows the first few pages of 130. The first few pages of 130, when correctly translated, literally mean Eren wanted the future and he willed it into place. Tread lightly with the sentence I just said. All I am saying is that Eren is saying that he wanted the future even if it was predetermined from the start. I will link a post about it in the description, but it's pretty widely known that 130 is mistranslated and or worded extremely weirdly. Basically, Ace just contradicted himself without even knowing it. He says he didn't have a choice even though he literally willed the future and wanted it. Nice. He then says Isayama says that he had the ending planned out from the beginning. Common sense and a basic comprehension of mystery writing and plot development says that he did change it. Grisha giving the founder to Eren, Sora's plotline, Paredes getting nuked, all these things cannot be the original creative vision from Isayama because all these things are fucking terrible. Furthermore, Isayama had came out and said he'd changed the direction of the story to fit with his new influence perception of Eren. Some people might have tried to rationalize this with, it's just the direction, but that simply doesn't make any sense. If I tell you I have to get to work at 5 p.m., but I change the direction of me getting to work, how the fuck did the direction change? It means something along the line was fundamentally changed. Ace uses chapters 69 and 71 to explain why Eren is not special.
Explained by Isayama's favorite chapters.
Honestly, full disrespect, if you think Eren isn't special after reading the first 130 chapters of the manga, you have brain damage. A normal person
I needed to know, so I set off for the Hamptons. And was then immediately hit with bumper-to-bumper traffic. I should have anticipated this. The traffic is a common Hamptonian complaint, as I've heard from the Real Housewives of New York's Bethany Frankel.
Because with just text, with just the language, they were trying to make up for everything that is lost when you don't have a tone of voice or body language to convey emotion. And this happened even with totally inconsequential subjects. If you saw a bunch of people online really hyping up some movie and then you went to go see that movie and you were disappointed in it, you would not just come back online and say, hey, I went to see that Star Wars prequel. I didn't think it was very good. No, you would come back and say, this is the worst film ever filmed. It is a crime against humanity. This movie is worse than 9/11. The only way to feel like people were seeing your opinion and perceiving it and treating it as important was to exaggerate your opinion. And if you felt like you had been mistreated by a moderator or another poster in the chat room or on the message board, if you merely said, hey, it's annoying what this person said to me, you always felt like you weren't going to be heard, that it was going to be ignored. So you would have to exaggerate